ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, Verse number 17. So these are prayers of the Vedas personified to Śrīnarayana at the beginning of creation. And in the previous slokas we read how they said that Brihate Taduplapnam, that all this what we see is Brahman only, and everything which exists here is his manifestation, and whatever you do, it is within him, just as when you walk on earth, so your foot cannot fall anywhere else but on earth. Even if they fall on some stone or something else, still it is on earth. So in the same way there may be Shrutis praising Indra, etc. And that is also ultimately his praise. And then they said that he is the Trayadhipata, that he is the Lord of the three, and sadhakas and siddhas both worship him. And there are Shruti statements for both. Now in this 17th verse, there is a description of the 5 koshas which are described in Taittiriya Upanishad in Brahmananda Valli. So those are summarized here in this particular verse. Because we have seen that how for every verse of the Shruti he is referring to certain parts of the Shrutis. So this one is very directly related to these 5 koshas of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya. So those are described here. Dhrityaiva swasantya subhrito yadite nuvidha mahedama mahedahamaadayondamasrijan yadanugrahataha purusa vidhonvayatra charmo anyamayadishuya sada sataparam tamathayade svavaseshamritam. Dhritaiva swasanti asubhrito yadi te anuvidha. So those people who are not devoted to Bhagavan, they are like the bellows of a blacksmith. They are breathing, but their breathing is like bellows of blacksmith. Means they are actually like corpse breathing, like you put somebody on the ventilator these days and the person is breathing, he may be dead, but the machine makes him breathe. But if they are your devotees, anuvidha, mahadahamadeo andamasrijanya dhanugrahata, then for their grace you have created this world, beginning from Mahat Tattva, Ahankara, and this whole Brahmanda was created so that they can engage in devotion. And Purusha Vidho Anavayo Atra Charmo Annamayadishuya. And these 5 koshas or coverings of the Purusha, beginning from Annamaya, Annamayadiyasuya. The last one, the Anandamaya. So in all of them you pervade them as a Purusha, because all these 5 they are given the explanation of a bird. But you are beyond that. Sadasata param tvamat yadeshu avasheshamritam. So beyond that there is the Supreme Bhagavan, who is the ultimate, and he is the truth. Avashesha Amritam, Avashesham Ritam means the truth is you. So this is the commentary on this. Purva slokokta bhajan vyatireke jana kidrisha siyuriti apekshayamaho. So in the previous 2 slokas, the people who are not engaged in service, because he said that there are 2 types of people who worship you, the sadhakas and the siddhas. So what about the people who do not worship you, bhajan vyatireke? So they are described here as dhritya. Te jana dhritya iva swasanti tvad bhakti hinatvena mritak sadharmyat. So they are breathing just like a bellow, because being devoid of your bhakti, they are just like dead people. Nispranatvepi bhastraiva virtha swasa ityartha. Actually they don't have life in them, but they are still breathing without any purpose. So Shaunaka Rishi has also said this in the 2nd canto, Tarvakyamna Jivanti Bhastrakyamna Swasantirita Na Khadanti Na Mehanti Grama Pasuva Pare. Says that if people who are not devoted to the Lord, they are living someone says, yes, they live. So how do they live? He says they are living. So he says the trees also live. Tarva kimna jivanti, what is the difference? So he says, no, they breathe. So that is the difference. So then he says, bhastra kimna swasanti uta. The bellows also breathe. So no, they eat. It says, na khadanti. Then the animals, they also eat. So what is the difference? So the meaning is that if one is not devoted, then one is just like an animal or a tree or a bellow of a blacksmith. So that is being described here. Dhritya even swasanti. Yadi tu te tav anuvidha anuvidati anukulyam kurvanti ti anuchara bhakta iti yavat. But if they are your devotees, means they are performing favorable service, then they are actually living and not dead like these people. Tadaiva subhrita pranadharino jivanto naraucyanti. Then only they are qualified to be called as human beings, because then they are actually breathing, asubhrita. Nanu abhastam api sukshman sthulascha deho jivaniva drishyate natumriyamana tatraho maheda mahadaya. If he says that people who are not devotees, they are also living because they also have their gross body and the subtle body, and we can see that they live. So why are you saying that they are dead? So then he says mahadahamadeti chitta ahankar buddhi manusrotra chaksuradiyo dehadva arambhaka yad anugrahato yad bhajan prapta anugrahadeva andam samasti vyasti sariram asrijan. So he says that these two types of bodies which people have, subtle and gross. Subtle includes mind, intelligence, ahankara, chitta, etc. And gross is the physical. So this is made from these material elements beginning from Mahat Tattva. And this was given by the anugraha of the devas who prayed to the Lord for creation. So there are presiding deities of all these material elements. So they yad anugrahato yad bhajan prapta anugrahadeva. So because of their prayers they prayed, then andam samasti vyasti sariram asrijan. Then only the Lord created the Brahmanda, which is the cosmic body, and the individual body. So these two bodies were created by God on the prayers of the Devas, as it is described. Namami tadeva padaravinda prapanna tapopusham tapatatram. So this is 3rd canto, 5th chapter. So the first sloka says that, O Lord, we bow down to your lotus feet. You are like an umbrella for those who are suffering from the heat of the material world. So we surrender to them. Ityadi tritiyoktayaschit ahankaradayo bhajne pravritta eva drishta. So there it is seen that the personified devas of Chitta Ahankara, they engaged in the service of Bhagavan, and then only this creation happened. Ato yesham chitta shrotradriyo nai bhajante bhajne pravartante te deha naiva chitta shrotradi manta. Therefore, the people whose subtle and gross body, which is indicated here by chitta and the eyes, etc., if they do not engage in the devotion to Bhagavan, then they really do not have chitta, etc. So te deha naiva chitta srotradi manta. They only have the body, physical body, but they don't have a heart, because the heart is meant for devotion. They don't have the eyes, because eyes are meant to see. They don't have ears, because ears are meant to hear about him. So that's the meaning of this sloka. Ato deha bhasa eva mrita eva iti bhava. Therefore their bodies are not really bodies, but they look like bodies. Just like a person who dies, and body is also there lying down. It's not a body anymore because it cannot perform any function of the body. So in the same way, if we are living and we do not engage in devotion, then we are really not living, because we are not performing the function for which this body is meant to be. And that is the significance. Nanu aham kidrishakara. Then Lord asks that what is my form, how do I exist? Yam mam te bhajiran iti ataho. So what is that my form which they worship or they should worship? So then he describes here Annamayadishu. Annamayadishu Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Sthula Deha Prananta Karana, Jiva Paramatman Kramena, Basti Pucha Prithvi Pucha, Atharva Angira Pucha, Mahapucha, Brahmapucha Eva Panchapurusha, Shruta Uktas Tesu Madhya Charma Anandamaya, Satvamiti Sambandha. So he says that there are 5 types of the bodies: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya. And this refers to the gross body, the Annamaya. Then this body, so many things are moving in it, blood is circulating, you eat food, that also becomes rasa and nourishes the whole body. And the food goes into the stomach, but it is then distributed. So all this happens with the help of prana. So therefore inside there is a pranamaya. So that is the pranamaya sarira or purusha.
Babaji, it looks like you miss one line here which I have.
What is that?
Yamamte bhajiran iti ata ahu पुरुष विदितः पुरुषस्य विदेव विदा आकारो यस्य सः तस्मात् एवं भूतो भगवान् एव त्वं सर्वभूतेषु परमात्मा सर्वबृहत्तम आनन्दरूपं ब्रह्मं च भवसि इति आहुः. Then Annamayadi starts.
Okay, so in my book I don't have it. It doesn't have. Anyway, the meaning what you read is this, that in these 5 Purushas which are described here, he is Anvaya, he is pervading all of them. Means they have life because of his existence, but he is the ultimate one, the Anandamaya. So somehow in this book it is missing. So, and then these are described that they have their pucha. Pucha means tail, and pucha pratishtha means that is the foundation on which they exist. So these 5 tails are described as Basti Pucha, Prithvi Pucha, Atharvangira Pucha, Mahapucha and Brahma Pucha. So the last one is the Brahma Pucha Pratishtha. So those are the essential parts which are described there. So he says, Ye panch purusha shruta ukta tesu madhye charma anandamaya. So among these 5 purushas, the 5th one is the Anandamaya Purusha, and that Anandamaya Purusha is, he says, is you. So the first one is the gross body, then there is the life air, which is there, and then there is a mind. So mind and life air are there interlinked. So that's why those who do yoga, then they do pranayam. Why pranayam is important? Because by controlling the prana, you can control the manas, because they are linked. And before that you do asana. So asana you do with the annamaya. So that is also related with the mind, in between is prana. So asana, then pranayam comes next. So this is the annamaya sarira, and then pranamaya sarira, then manomaya. And the whole idea is to control the mind, because yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. So to control the vrittis of the chitta, that is the yoga. So this is the science of Ashtanga yoga. And then there is the 4th one, is the Vijnanamaya. So in Vijnanamaya, the Advaitavadis, they call Vijnanamaya as the intellect or the awareness, and Vaishnavas say Vijnanamaya is the Jiva. That's how the Vaishnavas explain. And then comes Anandamaya, so Advaitavada. So there is a difference in explanation of these Panchkoshas between Vaishnavas and Advaitavada. So for Advaitavada, Anandamaya is then Brahman, Brahma Puchha Pratishtha. And everything else is just manifestation of Brahman through Maya. And for us, Anandamaya is the Paramatma. So there is Paramatma, then there is Jiva, then there is mind, then there is Prana, then there is body. This is our understanding. And then beyond Paramatma is Krishna. So he is the next. So what you call as 5th one. So there is Jiva, that is the Turiya, then Paramatma, then Krishna. So in Taittiriya Upanishad these things are described there. Tasmad vaye tasmad atmane akasha sambhute akashad vayu vayuragni agnirapayadbhyo prithvi prithvi avasdhyo asadhyo annam annat purusha savayesha purusha anna rasmaya. So it is from him that first the Akasha came. From Akasha came Vayu. From Vayu came Agni, fire. Then came water, then came earth. From earth came food. From food came the Purusha, Annamaya Purusha. The body is made from food. And this body is therefore Anna Rasmaya. It is made from the rasa of Anna. And then every one of them has similar statement, and then it says Tasma Tasya Idam Eva Shira. This is the head, then this is the right side, I am Dakshina Paksha, then this is the left, I am Uttar Paksha, I am Atma Idam Puchham Pratishtha, Tadapi Esa Shloka Bhavati. So then Annadvai Praja Jayante, and then there is importance of food which is given. That Annam is Brahma. Annad Bhutani Jayante. And they say that the food, you eat food and food eats you. Atti Adyateja. It is eaten and it eats you.
You said that Turiya is Jiva? Turiya. Turiya is the Jiva.
Yeah, because you have the wakeful state, dream state, dreamless state, and Tasam Vilakshano Jiva. Beyond that Jiva, then Paramatma, then Krishna.
And the meaning of Turiya?
Fourth.
Fourth.
Fourth. Turiya is 4.
Okay. Thank you.
Babaji, when
Jagrat Swapna Susisthacha Buddha Asam Buddha Vritte Tritiya Buddha Vritte. These are the 3 vrittis of the Buddhi or Manas, whatever you want to call. And then comes the Jiva. Tasam Vilakshana Jiva. And then comes Paramatma.
Babaji, when Brahmapucha is mentioned here they are taking as Paramatma. Because I had this understanding, at least I remember in Bhagavad Sandarbha that when they say Brahmapucha, then he will take it as Bhagavan, no? He will show that he is the Astitva of everything. So.
Yeah, but here different explanation.
Okay, so is Vishwanath, I mean you could still take it as Paramatma, it's not...
Because we already said this earlier in the beginning, before the prayers started, that Narayana is speaking it and it is being spoken about Krishna. So that's why they are extending it beyond that.
Okay.
Brahmano hi pratishtham, Krishna also says. So Shruta Ukta Teshu Madhya Yacharma Anandamaya Satvamiti Sambandha. So in the midst of all these 5 Purushas, the last one, that is the Anandamaya, that is you. Naru tarhi annamayadya kim aham na bhavami tatra visheshanti. So then he says that means that the other 4 is not me. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. So then he says Annamayadishu Anveti. So there the word Anvaya is used, that you also enter into them. Means you are also there in them. So Purusha Vidho Anvayo Atra Charmo Annamayadisuya. So Purusha Vidha, these are all in the form of Purusha, and you are Anvaya. Anvaya means that you pervade them. Satvam Tav Karanatvat. So that is you also, because you are the cause of them. Annamayadinam Tvat Karyatvat Etepi Tvameva Bhavsi. So because they are your effect and your cause, so therefore they are also you, taking the cause and effect as same. Kintu na swarupena, but not with your swarupa. You are not these Annamaya, etc. by your swarupa. Swarupena tu Anandamaya, tvam Anandamaya eva. In your swarupa you are Anandamaya. Sarva Karanam Paramatma ityartha. So you are the cause of all this, and therefore you are Paramatma. So that is the Narayana. Kintu eshu sarveshu api madhe yad avshesham charam parma rasovaisa iti sutya rasatvena pratipaditam strinam smaro murti maniti bhagavati vritam sadastaha param annamayadi sthula sukshma sarva vilakshana sarva shresthat sat anandamayat asat tato nikrishtat vijnanmayadescha paramanyat yasau jagrat swapna susipti matitya turyatito gopaliti. So beyond that is Gopal. So that's what he is saying here, that because in the Shruti also, after describing these 5 Purushas, then it says that Raso Vaisa Rasam Hyeva Labdho Anandi Bhavati. So beyond that is the Rasa, that is Krishna. So this is what is saying, that Kintu Eshu Sarveshu Api Madhye, in among all these 5 also, Yad Avshesham Charam Parma. So the Anandamaya is the Charma, means that this is the ultimate, but beyond the ultimate, Charam Parma is Raso Vaisa. That's how the Shruti describes. It's a very interesting part of Tattariya Upanishad. iti srutya rasattvena pratipaditam. So the Shruti or the Upanishad has established him as the form of rasa, and that is described in Bhagavatam as Strinam Smera Smaro Murtiman Mallanam Asni Nrinam Nirvara Smaro Strinam Smaro Murtiman. So Smara means Kamadev. So Krishna is known also as Kamadeva, which means that he is Ras personified. So, and then there it is said, Sad asatah param tvamatha yad eshu avshesham ritam. That among them, the ultimate, which is beyond that, that is you, sadasata param, beyond sat and asat. So sata is the Anandamaya. So sadasata, so this makes two divisions. The first four are asata and the fifth is sata, and beyond that is the rasa. So sadasata paramannamaya adi sthul sukshma sarvalakshan sarvsreshtat sata anandmayat asata stato nikrishtat vijnanmayadesya param. So beyond all this gross and subtle, gross is Annamaya and then the subtle ones, and then there is Anandamaya, and all these Vijnanamaya etc. are below Anandamaya. So Paramanyati also, beyond that, one who is beyond the state of wakefulness, dream and deep sleep, that is Gopala. So Sri Gopal Tapni Shruti Yuktam Brahmano hi Pratishthamiti Gita Tap Gita Spashtikritam. So in the Gopal Tapnis Upanishad also it is explained like that he is described as beyond Paramatma. Krishna is described like that. And then Krishna says himself in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmano hi pratistham amritasya vyasya sasvatasya dharmasya. So, iti Gita spashtikritam sarvotkristam Sri Krishna swarupam vastu tadapi ritam. So that is the ritam which is mentioned, tadavashesham ritam. So ritam means the truth, satyam param dhimahi, first sloka of Bhagavatam. That is Sri Krishna. Satyabratam satyaparam trisatya satya sayoni nihitam satya. So that is the ritam mentioned here. Asmabhi Shrutihi Shrutis tapah prapta swarup bhi praptam anubhutam va, which has been experienced by us, the Shrutis, by tapasya. Arte gatyarthatvad, gatyarthanam cha praptyarthatvad, jnanarthatvad. So ritam comes from rigatav dhatu, and the dhatus which mean gati, to go, also means knowledge and prapti. All dhatus which means going, because there are many gatyarthak dhatus. So they can also mean knowledge or attainment. Because gati is also called destination. आपकी क्या गति है? So that means destination is that what you achieve. So therefore I say that arte gatyarthatvat and gatyarthanam cha praptyarthatvat. So arte here means the re gatav dhatu. It is gatyarthak, re gatav. So and gatyarthak dhatus are praptyarthak, means to attain. And jnanarthatvat, because he is attained by jnana. So the Shrutis, therefore they say that we have also attained him. This will also come later on in this Striya Urgenda Bhoga Bhujadanda Vishanta Dhiya, Vishakta Dhiya. That we also train. Atra Surya Namte Loka Andhena Tamsavrita Tanste Pratyabhigachanti Yeke Chatma Hanojana Ityadya Bhaktiya Bhave Dos Pratipadika. So now he is showing the Shrutis, because this verse described those who are not devoted to Bhagavan. They are like the bellows, like dead. So this is the Shruti which describes that Surya Namte Loka Andhena Tamsavrita. So those Loka means place, also people, they are called Asurya, and they are blinded by darkness. And Tanste Pretya Vigachanti. So these people who are not devoted, they go there after death. Pretya means after death. Ye chake Atma Hanojana. They are the killer of their own self. So this is the non-devotees. Bhakti Abhave Dos Pratipadika Shruti. These are the Shrutis which are explaining those who do not have bhakti. And the other one, no, he says Asurya. Who are the Asurya? Dau Bhut Sargo Loke Asmin Daiva Asura Evacha Vishnu Bhakti Paro Daiva Asurastad Viparya. There are two types of beings, those who are called Daiva and Asura. Those who are devoted to Vishnu, they are called Daiva. Those who are not devoted, they are called Asura. And these lokas, these places are for the Asuras. Iti Agneya Vishnu Dharmottar Puranokte Uttarokte Asura Asura Nam Vishnu Bhakti Hina Nam Prapya Ityartha. So this sloka is found in Agni Puran, Vishnu Dharmottar Puran. So those who are Vishnu Bhakti Hina, they are the Asurya. Asuras, they go there. And the other ones, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam Yo Viddhati Kaman, Tam Pithagam Yetu Yajanti Dhira, Tesham Shanti Shashvati Netresham. He is the one eternal among eternals. He is one conscious being among the conscious beings. He is one who gives, who fulfills the wish or desire of many. Those who establish him on the asana and worship these dhira people, they attain peace, eternal shanti, not others. Ityadya bhakti sattva gun pratipadaka srutya. So remember dosa gribhita guna. So he showed the dosa pratipadaka shruti and gun pratipadaka shrutis. So the shrutis which are speaking about the non-devotees and the one which is speaking about the devotees. Savayesha purusho anarasadi mayas idameva siraha ayam dakshina paksha ayam uttar paksha idam puchham pratishtha iti evam annamayadi chatuh purusha nirupano anantaram pancham anandamayo nirupata. So this is the first purusha which is described there, Annarasmaya. Savayesha purusho annarasadimaya. That purusha is made of anna, and this is his head, this is right wing, this is left wing. Feet are like the tail on which you stand, that is the pratishtha. Pratishtha means in which you can stand. So the lower body is the tail, right hand is the right wing, left hand is the left wing, head is the head of the bird. So bird can fly, get out of the material world. So idam puchham pratishtha, and this is the tail, and this tail is the pratishtha, means the base. So then these 4 types of Purusha are described after that. So he is not quoting the 4 of them. You can read from here. Tasmad va etasmad annarasmayad anyo antaratma pranamaya. Then beyond and inside this annarasmaya is the pranamaya. Tenesha purna, this is fulfilled with that. Savayesha purusvidhaiva. So it is in the form of Purusha. Tasya purushvidhat vidtam anvayam purushvidha. And in that purushvidha is also entered. Tasya pranaeva shira. So head is the prana. Vyano dakshina paksha. So right wing is the vyana air. Apana is uttar paksha, left wing. Akasha is the atma. Prithvi pucham pratishtha. So like that, all of them are described. Then Manomaya is described. Then Vijnanamaya is described. And then comes the Anandamaya. So that is the one which he explains here. Tasmad va etasmad Vijnanamayad anyo antara atma Anandamaya. So beyond the Vijnanamaya and within it is the Anandamaya. And Tena Yesha Purna is full of that. Savayesha Purusvidha. And this is also in the form of a Purusha. Tasya Purushvidhatam Anvaya Purushvidha. Because he enters in this form of Purusha. So therefore he is Purusha. And its head is Priyam. So its Priyam, pleasure is the head. And joy is the right wing. Happiness is the left wing. And bliss is the Atma. And Brahm is the tail. So tasya priyameva shira. Modo dakshina paksha. Pramoda uttar paksha. Ananda atma. Brahma pucham pratishtha. Iti tatriyak shrutir jivatma paramatma brahma pratipadika. So here Jiva, Tatriya Upanishad is talking about the Jiva, that is the Vijnanamaya, then Paramatma, which is the Anandamaya, and Brahman, which is the Pucha, tail. So these 3 are, now Bhagavan is missing. So Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti shabdate. So atriyo Vijnane tishtan Vijnanadantro yasya Vijnanam Shariram Jivantaryami Pratipadak Shruter Atmani Tishtaniti Shruti Antar Vachya Vijnanmayo Jivatma eva Ukta Tadanantar Ukta Anandamaya Sarvantaryami Paramatma eva Paramapasya Iti Vaishnava Mate Vyakhya. So after that there is this description that there is your Vijnana Tishtan, one who sits in the Vijnana, that is the Jiva. Vijnanadantro yasya Vijnanam Shariram Jivantaryami Pratipadak Shruter Atmani Tishtan. So the Antaryami is the Atmani Tishtan. Tasya esa Shariraya Atmaya Purvasya. So iti Shruti Antar Vachya Vijnanamaya Jivatma eva. So he says that this Vijnanamaya is the Jivatma. This is the departure from the Advaitavada explanation. Jivatma yukta tadanantarokta Anandamaya Sarvantaryami Paramatma. And after that Anandamaya is described, who is the Antaryami, immanent of all beings. That is Paramatma. Paramopashya, who is the worshipable, supreme worshipable. Iti Vaishnava Mate Vyakhya. So this is the explanation according to the Vaishnavas. Because in the Vaishnava there is worship and Paramatma is the worshipable, Jiva is the worshipper. So this is departure from the Brahmavada. Atvatra putra darshana jana darshana darshanaja anandadikam priyadi sabde na vyakhayam. So this is how Advaitavada is described. This Priya, Moda, Pramoda. Says what is Priya? Says this is the joy you get when you see your son. When the parents see the son, that is the Priya. So he says that should not be the explained. Why? Because they only take the Brahman part there. For Advaitavad, the happiness is also against Brahmavad. Because in Brahman there is nothing. Brahman there is no Ananda. It is just pure consciousness. No kartritva, no bhoktritva.
Babaji, if Advaitavadis take Vijnanamaya as Buddhi, then Buddhi is not a part of Manas, then what is in Manomaya then?
Manomaya is Manas.
Okay, they are making distinction within the...
Yeah. They accept Ahankara, Chitta, Mano, Buddhi, all four came in Vedanta Paribhasha also. So this is the Vaishnava Vyakhya. Therefore he says, Atavatra putra darshana ja anandadikam priyadi shabdair na vyakhya. It should not be explained like that. Kintu ekasya eva parmananda swarupasya parmatmana ananda udaya utkarsa tartamyadeva priyadinam chaturnam tat nam bheda. Rather it should be understood that Paramatma, who is Anandamaya or Paramanandamaya, these Priya, Moda, Pramoda and Brahman, Brahmapuch Pratishtha, these are all four different types of Anandas which he experiences. So they are not material. Brahmanastu sarvatopi brihattam anandatvat ananda pratishthatvam. And Brahman, who is superior to everything else and the basis of all, so that is the pratishtha of ananda. Pratisthiyate asyamiti pratishtha ashraya. So pratishtha means the basis, the shelter, the foundation. As Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishthamiti yukte, that I am the foundation of the Brahman. Then raso vaisa iti sarvantim shruti yuktesya tasyapi pratishtha. And then after this comes the whole yadvai tat sukritam raso vaisa rasam hi eva labdhvanandi bhavati ko hi eva anyat ka pranyat yadek esha akasha anando na syat. So esha hi eva anandayati. So this is the Sarvantim Shruti, this is the seventh Anuvak of this Taittiriya Upanishad. So Krishna is the Pratishtha of that also. So Tasyapi Pratishtha, Krishna Sarva Brihattam Ananda Tadavdhi Rupo Gopal Tapni Shrutya Turyadapi Vilakshanattvena Pratipadita. So in Gopal Tapni Upanishad, Krishna has been explained even beyond Turiya. Turiya here is Paramatma. So, Vilakshanattvena Pratipadita. Prem Rasmaya Vapu Upasyesu Paramavdhirukta. Because his body is Prem Rasmaya, means beyond Anandamaya. Paramatma is Anandamaya. Then comes Bhakti Ras. Because with Paramatma also yogis, they meditate on Paramatma. So Chitta Vritti Nirodha. But the rasa of bhakti goes beyond that. And he also says that Paramatma is my part. Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam एकांशेन स्थितो जगत अथवा बहुना एतेन किम ज्ञातेन तव अर्जुन. So Krishna says in 10th chapter of Gita that what need is there to be no more, just understand that by one of my part I pervade everything, this whole jagat. So that is the Paramatma. Ityukter antaryami anandamaya khalu yasya eka eva amsa. So from this it is understood that the one who is the antaryami, the immanent being, he is only one part of him. Ateva prekshavat shiromani nam shruti nam krishnasya eva upasna brihadvamne drishta. Therefore the Shruti is personified, who are the topmost among those who are learned or wise. Prekshavat means those who are wise people. So they engage in the worship of Krishna only. This is described in Brihad Vamana Purana. So that's why the Shruticharis, they became gopis. So that's what he is referring to. Praptischa gopitvena. And therefore these Shrutis became the Shrutichari gopis. It was described Shrutichari gopi, Munichari gopi and Sadhaka. 3 types. Sastriya urgendra bhoga bhujadanda vishakta dhiya vayamapite samasam drisho api angri saroj sudha. So this will come here in 23rd verse. The Shrutis themselves will describe that how they also attained and became gopi and embraced the arms of Krishna. Iti vakshate. Ato bhagvat sarupeshu api madhye krishnameva sarvotkrishtaya shruti bhi pratipaditam. So therefore the Shrutis themselves have established that among the various forms, the form of Krishna is the topmost, sarvotkrishta. So rasena utkrishtate Krishna. So siddhantata bhedepi Narayana Shri Isha rasena utkrishtate Krishna. So all the Siddhanta, there is no difference, they are all Vishnu Tattva. But when it comes to rasa, then Krishna is supreme. Rupa Mesa Rasa Sthiti. This is the situation of rasa. And knowing this, Narada Sri Naranasyapi Purasthito Namastasmai Bhagavate Krishnaya Malkirte Iti Ucharyan Krishnameva Namaskarishyate. So therefore, although Narada Rishi, he was directly speaking to Narayana. But at the end, when Narayana stops answering his question, which includes these prayers, then Narada Muni prays to Narayana. But when he is praying to him, whom does he pray to? He actually says this sloka, Namastasmai Bhagavate Krishnaya Malkirtaye Yodhatte Sarvbhutanam Abhavaya Sati Kala. That I bow down to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, whose fame is flawless and who takes various forms to bring freedom or liberation to the living beings. So that means Narada understood that form of Krishna is supreme, and thus he prays to him. So this is the explanation of the sloka Dhrityaiva Swashanti Asubhrito yadite nuvidha Mahadamadevandam Sadasata param tamathaya deshu avasesham aritam. So very interesting prayer.
Babaji, I was asking, is there such a clear distinction between Anandamaya Purusha and Krishna as such? Because I was just checking Sridhara Swami's gloss for Brahmanoham Pratishtha. He says Ghanibhutam Brahmaevaham. So, I mean, he's just telling I'm condensed Brahman. So, I don't know.
No, because he changed the word Pratishtha to Pratima.
Oh yeah, but Jiva Goswami says there are some jealous people who make this.
Yeah, so
It is not
that's why I'm
acceptable.
saying Ghanibhuta, he may say jealous people, is trying to protect him. But the Ghanibhut makes sense only when the word is Pratima.
Pratima.
Otherwise, how will you make Pratishtha? So Pratishtha, when you give the meaning to word Pratishtha as Pratima, then it becomes Ghanibhut.
Okay.
What is the ontological position of the Shrutis?
On what's...
Here they're described as personified, and then also in the commentary it was mentioned that later they became Shruti-chari gopis. So they are not Swarupa Shakti, or are they?
Swarup Shakti?
Yes. Are they jivas? I mean the living entities? So this is I'm quite confused, because then they attained Krishna. Did they go to Goloka? Then where are the Shrutis? Did someone else occupy their position?
So the Shrutis are unlimited. So just like Jivas are unlimited, so they are also unlimited. So there are various types of Shrutis. So there may be some Swarup Shakti, because if they are Swarup Shakti, then there is no need to say we attained him. Swarup Shakti is already attained. So that means they are not the one who attained. But there may be, because Shrutis are also different types, remember? There are Yoga Pratipadika Shruti, Karma Pratipadika Shruti, Jnana Pratipadika Shruti, Bhakti Pratipadika, the Swarup Shakti.
And when it is said personified Shrutis, does it mean that they have form when they reside somewhere, or is it just a literary, metaphorical way to explain?
They also reside. When Krishna and Balaram were going to Mathura, then Akrura saw the Shruti personified, praying to Krishna. We also read in Gopal Champu. So some are inside and some on the periphery. They are also described in the Yoga Pitha. It comes, I think, in Bhagavad Sandarbha also.
Babaji, when Rupa Goswami calls Shruti-chari gopis, and he puts them in the same class as Shruti-chari, Muni-chari, he puts them in same class. So I was thinking that will imply that both of them had to do sadhana to attain.
Yeah.
So then the Shruti-chari gopis should not be a Swarupa Shakti, that is what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they are Swarup Shakti, then they don't need to attain.
Do sadhana. And I also, I have to check back, but I remember that in one place Vishwanath will mention that the Shrutis who are doing the stuti, they are only selected Shrutis like Gopal Tapani and all these personified, and not all the Shrutis. So I don't know what their position is in terms of Swarup.
Because those who are Karma Pratipadika, they will not speak like that.
Mohiniji has a question. We have the statement that the Shrutis became the gopis. Other sampradayas don't accept the gopis as highest devotees. How do these people explain these statements that the Shrutis became gopis?
So if they became gopis and gopis are not highest, that's all they will say. What is the problem? They did not in the highest position.
There's a question from Anantji. On the occasion of Janmashtami, I was wondering if you have a message or instruction for us.
Message is chant Krishna's names, do more japa. Sudhanshu Dikshit.
Babaji, I think in this Govinda Bhasya, when this Uttara comes, Anandamaya Dasa, at that time Baladev Krishna writes that this Anandamaya is only for Bhagavan, and when Jiva has bhakti, then he gets, then he can become Anandamaya because of Bhagavan's Sakti, similar to this. So, but in today's class it comes that this Anandamaya is related to Paramatma and Bhagavan's this. So how to reconcile it?
What is the problem?
Here again this point comes that this Paramatma is this Anandamaya refers to Paramatma only and Bhagavan is beyond this. But there it is it comes that it is refers to Bhagavan.
So what is the problem with that? That's what I am saying.
Problem is that this here it is beyond, and there it is not. But because Paramatma is only.
So he's explaining is taking them as one and not beyond. Paramatma and Bhagavan and Brahman is only one tattva. Vadanti tat tattvadas tattvam is jnanam advayam. It's only one advaya tattva. That's why I said that. Siddhantastu abhedayapi Sri Sri Krishna Swarupayo. That in Siddhanta there is abheda, it's only from rasa point of view. There is not much rasa analysis in the Vedanta Sutra. So here Bhagavatam is giving different view, different higher understanding. So there is not making that distinction, that's all. It's not making distinction of Paramatma and Bhagavan, just treating them as one and explaining.
Done. The three vritti of Buddhi is referring to the wake state, sleep and deep sleep. The three vritti of Buddhi.
Wakeful, dream and deep sleep.
Yeah, okay. Just